Jace Drummond didn't mean to find the alien princess. He was just a scrap hauler, one of those grungy spacers who wandered the outer systems, salvaging whatever wreckage the wars left behind. His ship, the Wayfarer's Det, was old enough to have rust in zero-G, but it still flew, and that was all that mattered. He was picking through the remains of an old cruiser near the asteroid belt of Virex 9 when his scanner picked up something warm inside one of the pods. That was odd. The derelict had been floating for years. Nothing warm should still be alive. He pried open the pod. Inside, surrounded by faint blue mist, was a girl. No, a woman. Her skin shimmered faintly like sunlight on oil. Her hair a cascade of pale gold that seemed to ripple even without gravity. A thin silver circlet glowed faintly on her forehead. Great, Jace muttered. A cryosleeper. Just what I needed. He should have called the local patrol. He should have turned her over immediately. But something about her face, serene, fragile, almost human but not, made him hesitate. Instead, he brought her aboard the Wayfarer's Det and set her up in his medbay. When she woke, she nearly killed him. Jace ducked as the woman shot a blast of violet energy from her hands, searing a hole in the bulkhead. Whoa! Whoa, easy, he shouted. I'm the guy who rescued you. Her eyes were bright silver, cold and piercing. Identify yourself, she demanded, voice trembling between fear and command. Jace Drummond. Independent salvager. Found your pod on a derelict near Virex 9. She studied him, her glowing eyes flicking over his patched flight suit, the grease stains, the faint smell of engine coolant. Finally, she relaxed slightly, though she still looked ready to fry him at the slightest provocation. My name is Liara of House Selen, she said softly. Daughter of Queen Sarathis, sovereign of the Empire of Alarion. Jace blinked. Never heard of it, her expression twisted into confusion. How long was I asleep? Ship's log said the wreck drifted for at least 30 years, Liara gasped. Then my world, my people. She clutched her head, trembling. Jace felt something twist in his chest. He wasn't used to caring about passengers, especially not ones who could probably vaporize him with a gesture. But she looked lost, utterly lost. Hey, he said quietly. You're safe here. We'll figure this out. Over the next few weeks, Liara learned to move through his ship like she belonged there. She was curious about everything. She asked about the star maps, the fusion drives, even the terrible freeze-dried rations Jace ate. You live like this? She asked once, wrinkling her nose at his tiny galley. Better than starving, he replied. Besides, I've got freedom. No kings, no taxes, no one telling me where to dock. She smiled faintly. Freedom, she said. We used to sing songs about that. He taught her how to fly the Wayfarer's Det in basic mode. She taught him a few words of her native tongue, strange musical syllables that seemed to hum through the air. He didn't notice when admiration turned into affection, and affection into something deeper. But one evening, as they drifted in orbit around a purple gas giant, Liara pressed her forehead to the viewport glass. I dreamed of this color, she whispered, back in the pod. I thought it was the sky of my home. Jace wanted to tell her she could make a new home, with him. But he bit his tongue. He was just a scavenger. She was a princess. Fairy tales didn't work like that. Then came the signal. Jace's comm crackled with a frequency so strong it nearly blew his receiver. Liara froze when she heard the tone. That's Alarion code, she breathed. They found me. A massive ship dropped out of hyperspace, a silver leviathan bristling with weapons. Its emblem glowed across its hull, a radiant sun flanked by wings. Jace had never seen anything like it. Unidentified vessel, a cold voice transmitted. You are in possession of Alarion royalty. Prepare to be boarded. Jace raised his hands to the controls. They could at least say thank you. When the boarding party arrived, Liara stepped forward regally, her chin lifted. The armored soldiers knelt. Then another figure entered, tall, radiant, and terrifying. Her eyes glowed brighter than her daughter's, and her presence filled the small bay like thunder. Mother, Liara whispered. Queen Sarathis of Alarion studied Jace with an expression that could melt hull plating. You, she said. You found my child? Jace swallowed. Yes, ma'am. You returned her safely? More or less, she, broke one of my walls. The queen's lips curved slightly. You have my gratitude. And by our laws, my debt. Jace blinked. Your what? In Ilarian custom, she explained, whoever saves royal blood must be bound to the royal line by pledge or by marriage. Jace coughed. Marriage? Wait, what? But Liara's mother wasn't looking at Liara. She was looking at him. You have the strength of will to face my daughter's power without fear, Sarathis said thoughtfully, and you risked your life for her. Perhaps it is fate that you and I should join our houses. Jace stared. You want to marry me? Liara nearly choked. Mother. It is law, Sarathis replied calmly. And he is adequate. Hey, Jace protested. Adequate? They brought him aboard the Ilarian flagship anyway. The ship was like a floating cathedral. Crystal corridors, gravity fields shaped like fountains of light, guards that shimmered like living metal. Jace stuck out like an oil stain. Everywhere he went, people whispered. The scavenger who saved the princess. The queen's chosen consort. Liara tried to help him navigate their customs, though she herself seemed uneasy. She won't force you, Liara told him. Not really, but refusing her would shame the throne. Great, Jace muttered. So my choices are marry your mom or start a galactic incident. Liara smiled wryly. Essentially. That night, during a feast in his honor, the queen addressed the court. This man, Jace Drummond, risked his life in the void to return what was lost to me, she proclaimed. By the sacred law of Ilarion, he shall be joined to the royal house. Trumpets blared. Servants scattered petals of starlight. Jace's heart pounded. Liara looked pale. He stood, cleared his throat, and said, Your Majesty, I appreciate the offer, really. But maybe we could skip the marriage part? I mean, you've got fleets, palaces, empires. I've got a half-broken hauler and a wrench. The hall fell silent. The queen's gaze hardened, but there was something amused behind it. You would refuse a queen? He hesitated. Then he looked at Liara, her silver eyes full of quiet plea, and found his courage. Yes, he said simply. Because I think I might already be in love with your daughter, gasps echoed. Liara's hand flew to her mouth. The queen tilted her head. Bold, she murmured, and foolish. Story of my life, Jace said. He expected execution. Instead, the queen dismissed the court and summoned him privately. You have spirit, she said, pacing before him. No fear of rank or death? I see why my daughter favors you, so you knew? Of course. I am her mother, not blind. She turned toward him, her eyes gleaming. But understand this, human. If you hurt her, I will erase your name from every star chart. Jace gulped. Fair enough. Sarathis smiled slightly. Then perhaps the law can be satisfied another way. If you will not marry me, you must still bind yourself to the royal house. How? She extended a crystal blade. A blood oath. He pricked his palm against it. The blade glowed faintly as a drop of his blood mingled with hers. A strange warmth spread through him, a connection, faint but deep, humming like distant thunder. It is done, Sarathis said. You are now protector of the royal line. Liara found him later in the observation deck, staring out at the stars. So, he said, your mom tried to marry me, then made me her magical bodyguard instead. Liara laughed, the sound soft and musical. You survived. That's impressive. Still think I'm adequate? She smiled. More than that. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the endless sprawl of constellations. Are you going to stay? She asked quietly. I don't know, he admitted. I'm not much of a court guy. Then come with me, she said suddenly. I want to see the worlds beyond Ilarion. The places you've been. The freedom you live by. Jace turned to her, stunned. You'd leave your throne? She shook her head. Just for a while. To remember what it means to be alive. And so the Wayfarer's debt became home to two unlikely companions. A grease-stained spacer and an alien princess who could command armies. They traveled from the dust worlds of the Rim to the nebula markets of Kara 5, dodging pirates, trading stories, and sometimes, when no one was watching, sharing quiet moments by the viewport. One night, as they drifted between systems, Liara reached for his hand. Do you ever regret it? She asked. Finding me? Jace smiled. Not for a second. Even though my mother nearly married you? He chuckled. Especially because of that. Makes one hell of a story. she laughed, leaning her head against his shoulder. The stars outside shimmered, endless and bright. Years later, bards across the outer systems would tell the tale of the scavenger who found a lost princess in a forgotten wreck, the man who faced a queen, defied an empire, and ended up binding his name to a dynasty older than his species. But for Jace and Liara, it wasn't about legends or thrones. It was about the simple, impossible fact that in the vast silence of the galaxy, they'd found each other, and sometimes, when messages came from a Larian signed with the Queen's unmistakable seal, Jace would grin and mutter, "Your mom still likes me." Liara would roll her eyes, kiss him, and say, "Only because you didn't marry her." Then they'd jump to hyperspace, hand in hand, chasing whatever new trouble the universe had to offer.